Hello and welcome. This is Mouse Gunner, and we're back with some more Hearts of Iron 4. There's been a patch to the game, version 1.2, and with that new version, I'll be starting a new series of Hearts of Iron. Let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to start with the 1936 start, and this time around, I'll be playing as Italy. Now, as I like to do, I like to set myself guidelines and rules of how I'm going to play and kind of give myself a theme. So, the theme of this is New Rome, but the one rule that I have that's going to restrict my play is I cannot be allied to Germany or join the Axis faction. I either have to have my own faction or just be unaligned. That is pretty much the rule that I'm going to go with. So let's go ahead and take a look at what Italy has to offer. So we've got this national spirit, which gives us acceptance of communist stuff and democratic stuff down, so that's a penalty. And acceptance of fascist diplomacy positive. And then AI modifier focus on offense plus 50%. And justify war goal time minus 5%. So that's good. Mostly. Obviously, we can't work with democratic or communist countries as well. And then we have Victor Emmanuel III, which gives us national unity of 5%. So that's good as well. All right, so that's the country we're going to be working with. And I am going to be going on regular difficulty. Now, one thing that I believe you can change in this new patch is actually changing the difficulty of specific nations. So if you don't like how difficult Germany is, for instance, I think you can turn down its difficulty. I'm not exactly sure how that works. I am going to go with historical AI focus. I want to go back to a historical playthrough. I'm not playing as Germany, so I kind of want to see historical stance from Germany. I'm kind of wondering if it's under the... Yeah, here we go. So under custom difficulty, you can tweak some countries. It looks like only 4. So we've got Germany, Italy, Soviet Union, and France. I'm going to leave them all on default. But to be honest with you, I could see justification of weakening Italy because honestly, from what I've seen in the couple of playthroughs I have had so far, is Italy seems to be not really historically accurate with its strength. But obviously, I don't want to weaken myself in a playthrough where I'm playing as Italy. So that... it's definitely not going to be something I do. But you could also weaken France if you wanted to. I honestly think they have enough things penalizing them that I don't see a reason why you'd want to weaken them. And Germany, I guess, you know, I don't know exactly the reason you'd have for weakening Germany either. But you at least have those choices and hopefully... Oh, actually, a matter of fact, there's a scroll bar. Oh, okay, so we can tweak all of the major nations. So that's good to see. In any case, let's go ahead and start up because I don't really see anything else that I really need to change. But a lot of the improvements in this patch are mostly AI related. Now, I don't remember what all of the changes were and what they related to, but I just know that there's been a lot of AI improvements and maybe some UI changes and things like that as well. So I'm going to have to expect changes. I just don't remember what all of them are. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started here. So the first thing we're going to want to do is look at the focus tree for Italy. So, and figure out what we want to do here with Italy. So I've got Ethiopian war logistics. Now, I should start at war with Ethiopia if I remember correctly. As a matter of fact, there we go. We are at war with Ethiopia right there. So we get some infrastructure and naval bases and things, and then you have industrial effort. Now, usually speaking, you want to kind of rush to get your extra research slot, and I don't really see a reason why I wouldn't do that. And then I could go through, like, the Triumph in Africa stuff, and then... If I were to do that, though, what would be the path that would give me my own faction? Probably Italy first. Yeah, can create faction... This is exactly what I want because we're trying to go with a new Rome. So it would be this path. So we would want to go down Triumph in Africa. It looks like I can go down this path without... And there's no restriction. So I can go this path down here if I want. But so the main thing we have is claims on Yugoslavia and befriend Yugoslavia. And then from there, we can go to befriend Bulgaria. And then to there, or from there, we go to Italy first. But it requires this here. And of course, this needs one of the following, either claims on Yugoslavia or befriend Yugoslavia, because you can't obviously do both. All right, so I think that's pretty much going to be our game plan. So I can't do Triumph in Africa even if I wanted to, because Ethiopia still exists. So obviously I'm going to go with one of these other ones first. And I think, honestly, the Ethiopian War logistics makes the most sense. So we'll go ahead and start that up. All right, so now that that is done, let's go ahead and take a look. Now, I'm not going to have nearly as much political power as I had when I was playing as Germany in my last playthrough, because you get a bonus from Mussolini, and I believe Mussolini doesn't really offer me any bonuses that I can see, so there's that. All right, more than likely, if I were to take a look at that focus, though, I can either befriend Yugoslavia or I can claim Yugoslavia. Now, the big problem with the claim on Yugoslavia is if tension is high enough when I get to that, I can see intervention like what happened in my first playthrough. Now, why that happened in my first playthrough is because Japan pretty much came in and just dominated China very early on in the game and took over all of China. And that got world tension all the way up to 100%. And that made things rather difficult for my make love not war playthrough, where I was trying to avoid war, having tension that high. And tension is going to obviously not be good for us in this playthrough either. So now that we've done that, I start with 4 research slots, and I will get my 5th one if I go down the focus tree to this point. So, and I don't see anything really holding me back. I mean, that's only what, another 3 focuses away, so that shouldn't be too hard to get. Let's go down the research path. Now, I'm not going to start with, I think, as many techs as I did as Germany, so I have to keep that in mind. We already have the fighters for this year period, so we're pretty good there. I'm missing heavy fighters and strategic bombers and tactical bombers, but I think we're okay for this point in time. We're missing artillery. We're missing support weapons. We only have engineering and motorized. And armor, we only have light tanks. No heavy. I might not ever go heavy. Well, at least initially I might not. And then we need the artillery stuff. I'm just trying to see, like, what can we get done? Now, we don't have 1936 tanks. We have 1934 tanks. But what can we get done relatively quickly? Looks like either the support weapon or an artillery tech would be relatively quick. Land doctrine. We are in the Grand Battle Plan doctrine. Naval, I'm going to assume we have some naval tech here, but there's a lot of stuff we still need to get. So battleships is the only thing we actually have that's current tech, and we don't have any carriers. Naval doctrine, we haven't really advanced, but we have fleet in being. And then I'm going to assume air doctrine, we don't have anything, so that's pretty typical. All right, so obviously we need electronic engineering, which is going to give us a research bonus. You know, I wonder, I think typically Germany and France in my previous playthroughs started with this. So we're actually behind a little bit on tech, which I guess makes sense. And then we have production stuff. So I'll go ahead and do this one. Not sure if I want to do the oil tech just yet. But I could if I wanted to. But I think I go with the support and then the upgrade to artillery as the techs I'm going to choose initially. All right, now that we have that done. Wow, I have no armies set up at all? Okay, well, that's fine. We have a bunch of free civilian factories. Where are we on our factory count? Let's see. We've got 20 civilian factories, and we're actually having 8, it looks like, free. Well, usually speaking, in the peacetime era, you're going to be building a lot of factories. So, put one there. Put 2 in there. Put 1 there. Put 1 there. Put 1 there. Put 1 here. 1 here. 1 there. And 1 there. Alright, so I think that's going to be my construction setup for now. Actually, it looked like we had 12 free factories, so I misread that. We were only using 8. Okay, so that's the civilian factories. Now we need the military factories. And we have a bunch of those free as well. So we're producing infantry equipment, light tanks, motorized, close air support. No fighters, huh? All right, well, we're going to need fighters. And I kind of learned my lesson on fighters. We're going to need to build a lot of those. So go ahead and build aircraft. Wait, don't we have 36 tech fighters? Did I misread that? Oh, we have 36 tech close air support, not fighters. So we're on 33 tech. Well, that's, you know, we can still work on that. That maybe was something I should have researched instead, but I'll do that later. That's not a big deal. Okay, so let's go back and start producing some fighters here. So we're going to be working on the interwar fighters, the CR-32s. And we can't make a variant because we don't even have the air experience. Go ahead and put that close to the top. And considering that this is going to be a very important thing to produce, I'm going to start with 5 being produced, but I might work it from there. And what else do we need that we don't have? We don't have any artillery, so let's go ahead and start building that. Now, I'm not going to have any units that can actually use it, so there's no reason to have a bunch of production going into that just yet. And I already have motorized and support equipment being produced, so I think this needs to be on a pretty low priority because probably only going to put like 1 factory into it for now. Close air support, I might put another factory into. Light tanks, I might put another factory into. And we'll put 1 there. Then my last factory, I'm just going to go ahead and put into the fighters so we can get that going. Okay, and then we don't have anybody being trained, and then we have free dockyards. Okay, so we do have some production going on right now. We've got a battleship, a light cruiser, 2 destroyers, and a submarine. Well, I think we just increase production of what we already have being built. Now, the Navy is going to be a lot more important for me in this playthrough than it was in the German playthrough, so I think what I'm going to do here is actually just up the numbers of some of these things. Well, these are actually 2 battleships being built simultaneously. I think I'm going to up the light cruiser production, up the destroyer production, and up the submarine production, and we'll go from there. Okay, so we're good there. Now we need, nobody's being trained. What's our manpower looking at right now? 708,000, that's not too bad for right now. I have no idea what my units look like, so let's go ahead and take a look at these guys. So this is just infantry with an engineering company. Alpine divisions. That's about the same size. Yeah, they're the same size units. These guys do get artillery. That's interesting. And these are our elite units. And then we've got the tank divisions, which are also elite. And not a whole lot of tanks in this. A lot of cavalry, which are probably going to be getting replaced here very soon with tanks. As soon as I get the... well, actually, I could replace them with motorized and then put more tanks in. Okay, well, anyway, I'm going to be definitely altering this unit eventually to be a little bit better than it is right now, but Okay. Oh, what did they have for support? They have nothing. Okay. And then we have colonial troops, which I am going to change the symbol of so that I can tell the difference. I always like to use the little palm tree for colonial troops. There we go. And as a matter of fact, I didn't have colonial troops last time. And then we have just normal cavalry, which is just, cavalry. Okay, so that's going to be pretty much our units for now. I think I want to train tanks. I want to train mountain, and I want to train normal infantry. And I'm going to add a unit to the infantry, so we're producing 2 of those. And as far as the locations go, I'm going to have them pop out in Rome, just so I know where the new units are. Okay. Now that that's done, we have to figure out resources. So we've got shortages of oil, rubber, and chromium. So let's trade here. So starting off with oil. Who do we want to trade with? Well, Venezuela is going to be a good source of oil, and it'd be good to get them on our side early on. Romania is another one that we'd want to get on our side as well. So it might be a good call to trade with both of them early on. So just do that many for Venezuela, and then Romania. I forget how many I needed. I think I needed 27. So, oops. We'll do 16 from Romania as well. So if we could get either of these guys in our faction, that'd be nice. Iran would be a nice country to get in our faction as well, because they're a good supply of oil. And I also forgot the other things that we need. So we need rubber and chromium. So rubber, it looks like we're going to be stuck mostly trading with somebody in Europe. France is potentially going to be an enemy in the future. A lot of it depends, because we may very well be at war with Germany, because I'm not going to be part of their faction, and there may actually be hostilities between the two of us. So it's hard to say who's going to be allies and who's going to be enemies. Siam might be a good call for rubber. Every playthrough I've ever seen, Siam tends to go fascist, but they usually join the Axis, and that might be a bad call if we're at war with them. So I think I'm going to go ahead and go with the Netherlands here for our trade purposes. And then chromium, which is our last bit of resource. We could trade with Turkey. That sounds like not a bad thing. Okay, so we should be good on resources. So now it's a matter of getting our armies situated. So I'm just going to go ahead, grab all these guys, and we're going to put them in an army. And this is going to be, I'm just going to call it Italy rather than the Italian theater. And we'll make them green. Okay, so those guys are good, and give them a commander. I'm not going to give them the most skilled commander. I might give them a field marshal. I'm not exactly sure. On the other hand, I might just give them a crap commander, because we're going to need commanders for the war. So here, you get that guy. Okay, now let's go back down here. Now, I do have units over here that I may have to put into an army, but let's go down to Ethiopia, because that's where the combat's going to be going on. So I've got a few units over here, and these guys are going to be in an army. And I'm going to do a new theater, and this is going to be the Africa theater. And let's give them a good commander, because they're going to be having a lot of fighting. So this General Giovanni is probably pretty good. He's got a Panzer Leader ability. I don't have any tanks in that zone at the moment, but he's still our best commander, so he'll do. And then down here, we've got 4 units. And these guys are going to be in a new army, and they're going to be part of the African theater as well, obviously, because they're in Africa. And we have a Field Marshal, who's an old guard guy, okay. And then we have defensive doctrine. And then we have old guard guy here. Now, I could give him an inexperienced general like this guy and hope that he gains experience and improves. Or I could do the field marshal because it is a field marshal and hope that he gains experience, and that would be good as well. I'm torn on this one. Half of me says do the field marshal. Half of me says do a general like this to just give him experience. But I think the field marshal is probably going to be important for later in the game, so we'll do the field marshal. And I'm more than likely going to want to send troops from other places into the Ethiopian theater here to kind of speed things along. Now, I don't think Italy has any other possessions that I need to worry about outside of Africa. Fairly certain of that. Yeah, so it's just over here and over here that we have to worry about. Alright, so let's see what troops I could possibly send. So I've got some tanks. I think the terrain in Ethiopia, though, is fairly mountainous, so initially the tanks would be good, but by the time the tanks get there, we'd probably push through most of that. So, do I just send the infantry that's down here, and I maybe have them be their own army? Or alternatively, I keep them where they are, and I just send some units from over here, like these guys over here in Venice, the tanks. Or even the Alpine unit might be a good call. I mean, I definitely want to give my generals experience and things, so I'll go ahead and grab these 5 units, make them a new army, give them a commander, give them this general guy here, and then have them march over here, and then we'll have them go across by boat to the combat theater. Alright, well, do I have any air power in the region? I have a little bit. So we've got some fighters and some tactical bombers and some close air support. Well, I'm going to want all of that active in East Africa. And then we have anything else over here. There's no reason to keep it there. So we've got some fighters and tactical bombers over there that we can possibly ship over to this airfield. And got some more bombers here. I'm fairly certain what I sent over here was less than 100, so I'll go ahead and send this group as well. Yeah, that should be good. And then I'm not going to send absolutely everything I have, because absolutely everything I have wouldn't fit. We don't need naval bombers. Alright. I'm going to send this bigger group here. And I'm going to put them in this bigger airfield over here. And that'll probably be good. That's plenty of air support, I think. And now it's time, I think, to make the plan. So let's go back over to Africa here. And we'll go ahead and set up a front line. It will be there. And then these guys over here. I think I'm going to give them a smaller line. I think I'm just going to draw it kind of where they already are. Well, it's been a while since I've drawn lines, so... Okay. Fairly certain I'm doing this right, but... There we go. Oh, I think it was doing the line here, which is why that was not working. There we go. So we just keep them kind of where they are. And... you know what? I changed my mind. It wouldn't be that big of a deal for them to have their front line go like that. And then we'll do the offensive line. For now, I'm going to keep it relatively simple, and I'm just going to draw it like that. And then these guys over here, I want an offensive line that brings them through there. And I'll let them prepare for that. And then we'll go ahead. Okay, so we can start time up. All right, and these guys, I'm going to go ahead and send over to the front as well. Question is, what front do I want them to be? I think I want them over here, so have them come. It will be it'll take them a little while to get there, but and I might as well tell everybody to be over East Africa, whether they're here or not. And then grab these guys. Now, a lot of them are not great range-wise, but we just do air superiority and close support rolls. All right, we should be ready to go. All right, let's stick with and these guys come down into here. I meant to change colors. Unfulfilled imports. Oil from Romania. Okay, probably a lot of people are demanding oil from Romania, so we'll back off a little bit. And we'll increase the oil supply from Venezuela. Okay, so how is your preparations going? You're still preparing. How's your preparations going? You're still preparing. I'm going to wait until the preparations are actually finished. So I'm going to speed things up a little bit more. Although I am allowing the enemy to entrench, so that is kind of an issue. I probably shouldn't allow that to be the case. Entrenchment can be a real problem. So I'm going to go ahead and go execute with the northern plan, but the southern plan I'm going to hang on to for a little while. And you know what? I want to change the color of the armies, so... Oh, there isn't a white, is there? Well, I can make my own color. There you go. And you are going to be red. All right. And missing equipment, tactical bomber. Oh, okay. I missed that I didn't have that. So get over here to production. And we'll start the tactical bomber line. I'm only going to give it one factory. And it's not going to be a particularly big priority. And what can I take away from? I'll take one factory away from the fighters. Just so that I have that being produced. Okay, so fighting is going on. And you guys are almost prepared. The Orange Army is almost there. Okay, you guys can just start. I think that's good enough. The Orange Army will be there soon. Probably overkill with these troops. The tanks, I think I'm just going to rush up north here. Orange Army I'll probably manually control, while the Red and White Army move. So I'm going to slow things down a little bit here. As a matter of fact, I think I'm going to go ahead and put a cut in the video. So I hope you guys have enjoyed. This is Mouse Gunner, signing out.